Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Ginger. Hello, Heart of Zany. How are you guys today? I'm kind of a little tired, which sucks because I have a doctor's appointment at 1 o'clock. I hate being tired when I have to see him. Uh, it's not a big deal. It's just to get my meds, to check on my meds and how they're working and stuff like that. He always checks on me every couple months. Hey, Heart of Zany, how are you? Did I already say hello? My mind is not working today. Slept so good last night. Like so good last night. Um, so how are you guys today? It's kind of a crappy day here. Like it's not sunny. It's not, it's kind of blah. In pain with sciatica in the right leg. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That is painful. I've had that before. It's like nothing works. Like a deep tissue massage, maybe. Hey, Shaz, how are you, sweetie? Deep tissue massage sometimes works. Have you ever gone to a chiropractor? Have you ever had those like really bad pains where you just need like that deep tissue, that deep tissue massage where just the harder it is, the better it feels for some reason. I mean, it hurts, but it doesn't hurt. I don't know if you guys have ever had that. I suffer a lot from sciatica. I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. So I guess you guys must have read the title. It's going to be about mental illness today. I'm supposed to have someone up on panel. I haven't heard from her yet, but we can just chit chat till then. Um, if you guys get a chance, go to Behaven's channel, her streams from last night on ADHD. Very, very, very informative. Actually going to the neurosurgeon now. My sciatica is so bad. Oh, I'm sorry, Ginger Locks. You suffer so much. I feel so bad for you. Do you think you might have to have surgery? Oh my goodness. Oh, I feel so bad for you. Why is my chat not working? You guys hear me? Press one, please. Mm, my chat isn't working here. Let me just close everything down and come back on. Um, stupid. Stupid YouTube isn't working for me lately, and I don't know why. There we go. Yeah, it's working now. I had to close everything down. Actually going, okay. Yeah, I hate those days when I have to see my doctor because I don't really see him for very long. It's usually just about my meds, and he just wants to know how they're working, if I'm sleeping, the usual questions. And then sometimes he'll tell me to go get a blood test, sometimes not. Depends. Hey, Angie, how are you doing? Going to be talking about mental illness today when a few more people come in. I'm supposed to be having, hey, Gemma. Oh, yeah. I, I forgot. I mean, I just totally left my mind. But if you haven't had a chance to watch Behaven's stream from last night, it was her and her husband, and they were talking about ADHD and relationships, and it was awesome, an awesome stream. It was two parts because one part was taken down, and she came back and she played she continued, and it was just an awesome stream. So if you can go there and watch it. It's her husband talking about when he was diagnosed and the whole there was a lot of things about ADHD, and our Gemma that comes in here went up on panel, and a lot of the things that she was talking about were a lot of the things that I had no idea about. So it was a very, very informative stream. So if any of you suffer from ADHD or know someone or love someone that has ADHD, please go there and watch it. It's very, very good stream. And other than that, hi Colt. Other than that, I'll be talking about my own mental illness today, which I suffer from, and I've always been honest about it, bipolar, um, which is not the same as ADHD, except that I get, I get depressed. I go from extreme highs to extreme lows. Hey, Ben, nice to see you, Ben. Um, Ginger locks. I've had 2 surgeries now, and the sciatica got worse with each one. So I said no more for me. Spinal surgeries didn't help. I'm sorry to hear that, Shaz. Yeah, Ben, I'm bipolar. I'm on a cocktail of meds. That it took my doctor 2 years to get me into um the right dosage for me. Because everybody's I'm on Depakote and Wellbutrin and Resveratrol to sleep at night because I was not sleeping. Um, I went off my meds for a year. I thought I was fine. I went off my meds for a year and realized that I could not function properly without my meds. So I went back to the doctor and they had to do a whole new assessment on me because once you've been away for so long, you have to start from zero. I have OCD, general anxiety, panic attacks, seizures, dissociative episodes due to past traumas. And exactly, and my bipolar could be from PTSD from a long time ago, which I have never, to this day, have never talked about it. Hi, Chatty Carrie, have never talked about um, what happened to me when I was a child and in my first marriage, um, because I have never been able to open up about that. But I am slowly, as I get to know this therapist, which I just changed therapists, I feel like I'll be able to open up more to him. But so far, I haven't. And they don't push you. If you're not ready, they don't push you. Um, Otherwise, the meds are not a cure-all. I would just say that they're not a cure-all for I have ADHD. I take Wellbutrin. Yeah, Wellbutrin is yeah, I take some. God, my dryer is loud. I do take a combination of Wellbutrin and Depakote and Resveratrol, and the Resveratrol is for sleeping. Um, I struggle with PTSD, which came around when my youngest was born. And what happened there? I actually smell the word on the flashbacks. Oh, I'm so sorry, Shaz. We cannot lump, and I'm bipolar, but we cannot lump mental illness into one category. It's all different categories. Now, I did used to get really bad panic attacks. I've learned how to cope with panic attacks. They've given me some skills. That took a while. I would think I was dying of a heart attack. I would feel my heart, beating through my chest. It was really terrifying. It was some of the most terrifying moments of this whole thing was my panic attacks. It was just like I couldn't breathe. Even when I breathed into a paper bag, it was just like I was not getting better. I was just like racing thoughts. I don't know if any of you get those symptoms of the racing thoughts. Um, I have a really bad when I'm when I'm get at those racing thoughts, I can't concentrate. I just have a really hard time concentrating on anything. Um, Skills don't work for me for panic attacks. They lead to hysteria and the grand mal seizure. I'm so sorry, Zany. I get racing thoughts all the time. And my husband used to get so frustrated with me because he would be talking to me. Like I'm talking, he would be talking to me for about 20 minutes about something. And I literally, I swear to God, did not hear one thing he said because he would look at me and say, because I would look like a deer in headlights, and he would say, "You didn't hear a word I said, did you?" And I would say, I would lie and say, "Yeah, I did." And he'd say, "Tell me what I just said." And I couldn't repeat what he had just said because literally was the things that were going on in my head was what I was concentrating on and not what he was saying. And I don't know if any of you have gone through that. It's a negative thoughts through my OCD, which is the worst. Yeah, and I find like at night was the worst time when I was off my meds because that's when all the thoughts would come through my mind, like all the bad thoughts. And I'm talking really bad thoughts. I'm talking suicidal thoughts, and you know, I actually had to be put in a hospital under medical care because of how worried they were. My husband was about me, how worried I know it sounds like I was crazy, but I was that depressed. Um, I was that depressed. And they gave you we got group therapy in the hospital. But here's my thing on here. Nobody knows what everybody's my thoughts are not self-harming at all, more fear of dying. My thoughts were both. Actually, I had both thoughts: fear of dying. Uh, you know, is it worth it? Like I would tell my doctor, well, I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't. I do sometimes think it would be easier for me just to go to sleep one night and not wake up because I would be so struggling with this mental illness that it was hard to go on. Some days, it would last sometimes for months that I would be in this rut, especially when I was off my meds. When I was off my meds, it was really bad. And I'm not just saying like manic episodes, but the deep depression. That was the hardest part of everything. I had therapy, but it made me worse, and they stopped them. Okay. I'm going through therapy now. I honestly don't know how much it is helping me. I'm hoping still haven't opened up about everything yet. Um, but hopefully I will get to a point where I'm on my meds. I'm on a steady cocktail of, you know, what I need to take to keep me even keel. And here's one thing I would like to say to people if you don't know about, hi, Diana. If you don't know how mental illness works, please don't use that. Hi, Amrose. Please do not use mental illness as a weapon against someone that suffers with mental illness because I'm going to tell you that it's not something. Hi, Samara. Mental health needs to be talked about more, especially in this community. Maybe people would be kinder to one another if they put themselves in someone else's shoe. Well, I don't know about that, Samara, but I don't think it should be used as a weapon. Hi, Twanda, as a weapon against someone, because I'm not saying we all suffer from mental illness. Some of us have PTSD. Some of us have been through a lot that we don't talk about. Um, some of us are bipolar. I mean, it's something that we can't help. I asked my doctor, I said, how long will I have to be on this medication? And he said, probably for the rest of your life, because it's like a disease. Like if someone had cancer, would you say, um, would you be any less um, considerate of them than you are of someone that has mental illness and suffers from mental illness? And it manifests itself in many different ways. Sure, sure, Ben. And it manifests itself in many different ways, many different uh like I said, when you're bipolar, you go from extreme highs to extreme lows. It doesn't mean your meds are not working. It's just you could be having a bad day. How we all have a bad day. And my friend Jenna, you put that to me in and it made a lot of sense to me when she said, "Hi, Ambrose." Hey, Brian.
Hey, hi, Carl. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. What's up?
Yeah, I was just saying that I'm bipolar and I'm on Wellbutrin, Paxil, and Seroquel at night. They put me on to sleep because one time I went a couple days without sleeping and I was not in a good place. So yeah, they had to hospitalize me and they gave me that.
I was on Seroquel for a while, but I didn't like the way it made me feel the next day. Seroquel, I really
there's a Seroquel hangover. So
it was like where I couldn't even walk. I would get like real dizzy. I would get out of bed to go to the bathroom, and I would have to literally hold on to the wall, and I didn't like that feeling. So yeah, but it did help me. When I took it, I slept. I really did. It was a
yeah, I've been on it probably 7 years.
Yeah. I was diagnosed in 2004 bipolar. So.
I was in 1994.
Oh, really? Seriously? So you were young. You were just a young buck.
Yeah.
Everybody just thought I was in a bad mood all the time.
I was about 18. And have you ever heard of ECT? It stands for electroconvulsive therapy, which is better known as shock therapy, electric shock therapy.
Okay, I know what you mean.
I know people have they haven't outed me, but because I mentioned it a couple times, but yes, it is true. It's not like you see on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, where they make it where it was basically back then torture, where they didn't put you under anesthesia. They just stuck that thing in your mouth so you wouldn't swallow your tongue. And but nowadays, it's still controversial. But I actually, I wasn't going to some like crappy doctor. This is in a hospital. He suggested it to me. They put me under anesthesia and all that. It was like in outpatient. I would go in. Then I'd like leave the same day. I had it like once every 2 weeks for three times, and it was getting to the point where no medicines were helping me. I was suicidal at the time, so I thought I had nothing to lose by trying it, and it did help me for a while. But when I realized that wore off, I never did it again. So why?
And you are much loved, Brian. Twanda was just in the chat saying she's very proud of the man that you have become.
Thank you.
Twanda is an angel.
You have come such a long way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Honest to God, it's amazing to see. It really is.
Well, sometimes miracles happen.
They do.
They do.
That's why.
And do you remember the good old days, Ben, when we used to just have fun in your chat? That was years ago.
You, Trisha, BTS, everybody used to hang out. I think that you guys, you, Trisha, and BTS, I make a joke that you guys started going live because you're like, Ben does this and he sucks. He has no content.
No, that's not why. It just was like I was doing short little videos before that.
I remember the bubbles.
Yeah, the bubbles. I always had bubbles going. So
I always make a joke out of that about they saw I was doing it and they're like, you three went on to do your own stuff, like surpassed me by like. I'm proud of you
Yeah,
guys.
but how many times have you closed your channel down, Ben? A few times.
Probably
Probably would have.
most, and I like Mandy Bell as many as Mandy Bell, probably 6 or 7. But yeah,
Oh, wow.
on the electroshock therapy, I mean, I was just like, well, I got nothing to lose. What's going to do? Kill me? I'm suicidal anyway. Hey, Gemma, what's up, girlie? How are you?
Hey, Ben. Hey, Connor. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Gemma.
Oh, hey, Carla, it's been 7 months. The other day, 7 months sober.
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
But July 4th will be 8 months, but I'm probably going to drink July 4th. I'm going to be honest about it now, guys. I'm probably going to drink on July 4th.
Just try not to overdo it if you have to.
And I won't be
overdo it.
And I love you guys, but you guys won't see me drunk. I won't be drunk living. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good.
Well, I'm going to jump off of here. I love you, Carla.
Okay, I love you too, Ben.
Have a good day,
Take
everybody.
care.
Gemma, bye, Gemma.
We're all proud of
Ben.
you.
Thank you.
Hey, Gemma.
Hey,
Hey,
Carla.
Ginger.
Hi. I just want to say, because I'm in an Uber right now, so I don't know how long I got, but I just wanted to.
Hey, Diana.
I wanted to just let everybody know, I missed that Lady B's video or live last night. I swear to God, I'm kind of mad that my husband didn't sit and watch it with me because they were the same things me and my husband argue over, but we both have ADHD. So it's kind of funny because we both get on each other's nerves. So
Your husband has it too?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he has it.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's like you could sit there and you could tell him something, and he's not even looking at you. Like, did you hear you were talking? Yeah, yeah, I was talking.
Sometimes it's hard to talk about like your mental illness with people, and I guess ADHD is falls under that category of mental illness. I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure about it, but
it's linked with anxiety all the time.
Yeah, there's anxiety, there's like panic attacks, there's depression, there's all kinds of stuff, manic episodes, all kinds of stuff.
I just
Hey, Behaven.
Gemma, I think you guys
Hey, Gemma.
last night. I think you guys did awesome.
Oh yeah, that was a great first stream. That was great first. Hey, Blink.
I really enjoyed, like I was saying to Behaven in the chat, I think for me it was quite eye-opening to see how another person has similar traits to me and how I could identify with what Behaven was saying about her husband. And a lot of the traits people don't often think that ADHD and autism have the same issues, and we actually do. A lot of them are actually comorbid issues. So a lot of us do actually have the same traits a lot of the time. It's just ADHD has more of the hyperactivity and more physical behavior, whereas autism is hidden. So that's the only difference to it, really.
Hi, Nikki.
I was very surprised by that as well, Gemma. Very eye-opening.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
I was too. Like, there was a lot of things that I didn't know about ADHD. And if you guys haven't watched it, go back and watch it. There's 2 parts to it. It was very, very informative. Very informative. And
we had a lot of hiccups, but we learned. We'll do better.
That was your first time going live. I mean, what do you expect? You can't expect like perfection the first time. There's got to be. You don't learn unless you have a few hiccups here and there. That's how you learn. That's how I learned.
The content, I feel like it was valuable and worth keeping up.
It very much was. Yeah. Very much was.
Thank you, everyone.
And it was fun being in one of your lives for a change.
Yeah.
Instead of always like, it was like awesome. And you didn't get any trolls, which was nice. So
yeah.
Yeah, like I was saying before, it's not to use mental illness as a weapon towards anybody, because we don't know what anybody is going through in their personal lives. And hi, Blink. And to use that as a weapon is just wrong. And I see that used a lot in here. Like, people say, like, that was one thing that would just, oh God, it would irritate me. It's like, even if someone was saying it joking, oh, you're just crazy. Like, no, I'm not crazy. There's something wrong. I'm
Well,
depressed.
it's very irresponsible because you don't know when you do something to somebody like that. You could put them in a downward spiral, and
Mhm,
that could result in somebody doing something that you can't undo.
mhm. And you see that a lot. I mean, it's just like, I mean, I've had people use that against me, and it's just like, no, you can't use my mental illness against me as a weapon.
Yeah. And the thing is, Carla, you're human, and
Mhm,
behaviors shouldn't always be attributed to your mental health status. You're just like everybody else. Sometimes you're just having a bad day, and it
mhm.
doesn't mean that it has anything to do with your mental health. You're just having a bad day.
Exactly. Like, I think it was Jenna that said, can't we just have a bad day? You know how everybody would say, okay, when I don't have my period anymore, but everybody would say, she's in a bad mood because she's PMSing. Okay.
Right.
Well, that's not always true either.
That's
Maybe,
true.
maybe you do get irritable when you have, well, if you bled for 7 days, you'd be irritable too. But,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
Yeah.
I
eh,
think Gemma alluded to it last night as well for her condition, that sometimes her just having a simple bad day gets attributed to her autism.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
And it's not, sometimes it's something completely different. That's what people don't get about me. Like sometimes it can be something I've read online or something that I've had a row with my family members, and then I get so upset and worked up over it that I just have to disappear. And people go, "Oh, it's her autism. She's a spoiled brat." No, it's not. I'm having a bad day. Back off, leave me alone. Once I'm able to cool down, then I can come back. It's just
Yeah,
you attribute it to my autism because that's what you see.
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure, Ginger Lax, do you suffer? I think you said that you suffer with depression and anxiety.
Yeah, both her and her husband have ADHD.
Yeah, I found that out last night. I wasn't even aware of that.
I wasn't either. I know she suffers from a lot of physical ailments, but
Yeah.
ADHD was not one that I was really familiar with. There's Jenna.
Hi, Jenna.
Jenna, come on up.
Hey,
Um,
Jenna.
Hi, Tawanda.
yeah,
Good to see you.
I was using one of your what you said to me about, can't we just have a bad day? Like, can't we just have a bad day and not be, oh, well, she's like manic today, or she's depressed, or she's like, I'm just like not having a good day. I think everybody doesn't have a good day. It doesn't always have to be attributed to your bipolar depression or a bipolar episode. It could be you're just having a bad day, or you feel sad. Um, you know,
Exactly.
I think about my mom, or I think about my dad, and I get upset. I mean, I'm just human, you know?
Exactly. It's part of the human experience to have a bad day.
Okay,
I,
hun.
I think people forget as well, when you live with a condition and it affects your emotions, people often think that you're just having a emotional meltdown, or I get told all the time, "Oh, it's just your anxiety, your depression, like you're just depressed, get over it." And it's like, no, I can't, because it's part of me. I can't just switch the depression or my anxiety off. It doesn't
That's
work
right.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah, my
and I
depression and anxiety was onset by um I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue disorder. And for me, I've always been a very active person. Like from the
thank you,
moment
Shauna.
I would wake up until the moment I would lie down at night, I was in constant motion. So when I felt like I'd become a prisoner to my body, I didn't realize how much I had put so much value into the things that I was physically able to do. And I lost myself there for a while. And when you have chronic fatigue, you don't know if you're going to be down for 2 days or for 7 days. And I mean, literally, sitting up can be exhausting. I never knew that that kind of exhaustion could exist. But the only thing that is working is your mind. And you have, which brings on the anxiety because you're, all you can do is think. And like the more I thought, how long is this going to last, the more anxious I would get. And thankfully, I've come, my rheumatologist has me on the proper medication now. And I'm not ever going to be what I used to be, but it's good to finally feel like I used to feel. And that's really helped me with my depression and anxiety a lot.
Yeah. And here's the thing, there's no cure all. Like even for me, they can put you on a cocktail of medications that helps, but there's no cure all. I still have episodes. I still go into depression. I still have manic episodes. I will admit it. It's not the cure. It's not the magic potion. For me, it helps, but I don't think it should ever be used against you because it's a very hi
Hey,
hi
Mark. Hi,
Rolling,
Homestead.
nice to see you. It should never ever be used against you for any reason, and
No,
I mean that absolutely, like all across the board.
I like what Diana Jan Fairchild's saying is that she was actually able to overcome OCD by herself, and that she's found that exercising has given her balance. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that. I believe you get those natural, what's the word, endorphins going
Mm-hmm.
through your body when you exercise.
Yeah, I
This
think
lady
that.
is amazing. She's almost 64 years old and
I
jogs 5 miles
I
every
know.
day. It's like absolutely amazing.
Well,
Um,
if that's what exercise does, I'm going to start running 50 miles a day.
maybe we should all exercise.
Yeah.
Well, my doctor has told me to do that. That's one thing he has told me. Even if it's not like running, just walking, just taking a walk every day, just just doing just getting out of the house and just doing things that physical exercise, which I've been really lacking in doing this last year. Um, you're 64.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, she
Good for
looks good,
you.
doesn't she? Have you ever seen her? She
Yes,
looks
I have.
great.
I sure have.
64. She looks fantastic. You would never guess she was 64.
Did 5 miles in the sand yesterday. I don't think I could do 5 feet in the sand right now. Jealous.
Hi, Chantilly Lace. Um, yeah, so I don't know. Did you ever get anxiety attacks, like where you really are a panic attack? We call them anxiety attacks or panic attacks where you thought you were going to die. Have you ever had one of those?
I,
Yeah, I've
I've
been
had
hospitalised
one.
twice.
Never ever want
It's scary, isn't it?
it. It really is. It
It's
really,
like
really is.
you
I think
actually,
people misunderstand that when you have anxiety attacks or panic attacks because you don't know what's happening to you. And I first had one about 3-4 years ago. I was around my sister's house and we'd had a really good day. Everything was good, and all of a sudden I felt tight chested. I couldn't breathe. I'm like, what the hell's happening here? I don't get it. And I ended up in hospital for 8 hours on a heart machine. My heart rate had gone through the roof. My blood pressure was absolutely exploding. And I ended up being put into a side room in A&E for 8 hours. And they ended up giving me a drip till I could get home.
well, when
Yeah.
I went to my doctor the last time, they took my blood pressure and they said, Oh, that's, they were worried about my blood pressure. And I think it was after I learned that my blood pressure was hitting the roof, I actually had a panic attack. I said, well, am I going to die? Like, I did not understand. Oh, there's Jenna. Hey, Jenna.
Hey
We're on
guys,
the porch.
How are you doing?
I'm all right. Hot, 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 hot.
Yeah, it is
It's
hot.
already 85 here. Oh
Oh,
yeah, it's a hot
so
day.
you want to tell us your experiences with mental illness or your bipolar? Because I know you are like me, bipolar. Um,
Yes.
you want to tell people how you deal with it or suffer with it or how you.
Well, I I struggled with my bipolar for a long time because I was at a point where I felt like I was fine and everybody else needed to learn to deal with me, So I went many years unmedicated on, no counseling, no nothing. And everybody's like, oh, Jenna's in a mood, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I like me. I like me. You need to learn to deal with me. And then it got to a point where I was I was like nobody was happy around me and I wasn't happy around me. So I finally, probably in my 30s, I finally decided, okay, I'll go and see what it's about. And I did it for a little while and then I felt like I was fixed. I got on meds, I did counseling, I was like, no, I got this. I don't need meds no more. I got it. No, I didn't get it. So, and every bipolar is different. That's another thing a lot of people think is once you say bipolar, that means, everybody's the same. And me and Carla have had many talks, and in some areas, we are the same. In some areas, we're totally different. And that's why there's a bipolar 1 and a bipolar 2. There's not just one bipolar. And I don't think a lot of people know that. There's different stages of bipolar. Some people are bipolar with depression. Some people are bipolar with manic episodes. They're totally different. Some people get depressed and don't want to get dressed or clean their house, and others get manic where they do things that they wouldn't normally do, like spend money they don't have, or experience with drugs or sexuality or all kinds of things, things that they wouldn't do but they did. So I think that's another thing with bipolar is a lot of people think it's one, if you're bipolar, you're all the same. And me personally, I don't believe that. I think in some areas we're the same, but not all areas.
No.
And a lot for me is learning how to, I have to learn to say, I'm not having a good day today. Like in my house, I won't take it out on strangers. I'll take it out on the people that I love the most and the ones that get me the most. So I'll take it out on my husband or my kids or my mother or my brother or my aunts or uncles or anybody that I was close to, my friends. And I had to learn to say, today's just not a good day. I'm going to go isolate. That's the thing with me. Maybe it might not work for a lot of other people, but for me, it works. I'll take a day and I'll just hide in my bedroom for a whole day. My husband comes in and says, hey, dinner's done, or my kids will knock on the door and ask me a question. But that's what works for my family. And it might not work for everybody, and I was driving and I had caught how you said, how I had mentioned how, some days it has nothing to do with bipolar. Some days I'm just having a bad day and it has nothing to do with because I'm bipolar. It's just because I'm allowed to have those days. I just wake up on the wrong side of the bed. It doesn't mean, watch out, Jenna's bipolar today. And I think a lot of people, once you let people know that you have bipolar or any sort of disability, they think they contribute everything you do to that disability. And
Exactly.
they really do. And they
And
can't,
can use it
especially
against
on
you.
here. Yeah, and I see it a lot on here. You know, somebody says something about themselves and then everybody uses it as a weapon. And, you know, oh, they must be this today because they said they were that. So it has to be that. No, it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be because I'm bipolar, so I'm just being bipolar. I'm just
Right.
having a day. So,
Yep.
And I'm surprised at how many people suffer from mental illness in one form or another.
yeah.
I mean, it's not necessarily bipolar, but it's, you know, depression, panic attacks, anxiety. It's just a lot of it goes under a big scope of, you know, bipolar is just a one form of, you know, mental
Oh,
illness.
yeah,
There's
there
many.
absolutely. There's depression, there's dissociative identity disorder, there's, you know, OCD, there's anxiety, there's all kinds of,
Phobias.
yeah, you know, PTSD. I mean, there's so many forms nowadays.
Uh, yeah, it is. It just, uh, you know, you just have to learn to deal with it. Like I said, I went off my meds um, for a year because I thought I was okay. That was on me. That was on me. I just thought I was okay. I felt okay. I felt like I didn't need them anymore. So for a whole year, I went off my meds. Well,
Yeah,
you know, I was like you. I thought it was the problem of everybody else. It wasn't my problem. They were the ones
right,
that were not understanding me. They were the ones that had the problem.
exactly. Yeah.
You know,
Ginger
I have a
locks.
question for you and Carla if my dog doesn't start barking. It's
okay.
okay. Um, even when you're medicated, do you find things that when you do feel yourself going into a panic or a depression that you can do to help yourselves?
Mine is I walk in the woods. Something about the woods for me. I'll take my dogs and I'll just go into the woods and I'll walk. And for me, some people it's exercising, some people it's you know, taking a bath, some it's cooking. For me, it's when I'm having like a consecutive day after day where some days I can just be depressed and the next day I can snap out of it. Other days where it will be like a consistent type of days to get myself out of it. I'll grab my dogs, I'll get in a car and I'll find a trail somewhere in the woods and I just walk. Something about nature and the birds and everything. It just brings me peace and it kind of puts things in perspective for me. So that's for
I
me. I
know.
don't know what
Yeah.
Carla.
Yeah. Carla, how
I
about you?
try, well, when I'm in a depression, I try to look something to look forward to. Um, although it's been hard this last year, with the whole, you know, pandemic and quarantine and certain other things that have gone on in my personal life, which I won't go into, but sometimes it's harder than other times. And when you get into a depression, um, sometimes it's really bad. Like sometimes it's really bad. And sometimes you just have to, you know, realize, you know, not beat up on yourself all the time. It's who you are. You have to accept who you are. And sometimes that's hard to do.
Yeah. I know for me, I will literally force myself to get out of the house. I mean, even going to Hobby Lobby and just looking around and being around other people will instantly start to change me around. But it's
Mhm.
hard to force yourself to do that sometimes because
It
you know,
is. It
it's a
is hard,
struggle. Yeah.
especially
I
when
have,
you're in it. When you're in it, you know, you want to be in it. even though you're telling yourself you don't want to be in it, but you do. Like when I'm depressed, I want to be depressed. It's weird. You would think that I would want to get up and get out of it, but sometimes I find myself where I'm like, no, I'm good like this. But
No, I
it's not
never feel
healthy
that
for me.
way. And that I think that's what brings on the anxiety for me because I want it to end and I don't know when it's going to end. So it's compounded by then making me have anxiety. Oh my gosh.
Well,
Right.
I've gone so far as gotten in my car, drove down to the end of the street and turned around and come back home because I just couldn't force myself. There's some days I can, there's some days I just can't. And I just feel like I was kind of afraid that I was going to get, what's that, where you can't go out of your house, agoraphobia? Because
Yeah,
I think I was in my house for about 2 months straight. My
that's
husband would
my
go out and do the groceries. I just didn't go anywhere. And I'm like, if I don't get in my car and do something soon, I'm not going to be able to leave this house. I'm just not going to be able to do it. And so I forced myself to get out of the house.
that's why
I
I'm
was
saying sometimes it can bring on other disorders like phobias. That's a
right.
perfect example.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like that's what. But all the while I went out that first time when I was in the house for so long. That was just when the first quarantine started and all that. I forced myself to go to the grocery store, and I was thinking all the way there, I hope I don't have a panic attack. I hope I don't have a panic attack because I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'll do. Will I panic in the store? Will I panic? That was going through my head the whole time. The
Hmm.
whole time I went to the store. I went there and it was fine. I went in there, got my stuff, and got out. But it wasn't
See,
easy.
the heart of Zanny it says, I also take things literally. If people don't match this, I fall out with them. Crazy, I know. But it's not. Not that I'm a little different. It's not that I'll take things literally, but I can, if I'm in that mood, my friends will call me and I won't pick up the phone. And they don't know if I'm okay, and they'll call me day after day. My mom, my family members, they'll call me, and they know that I'm near my phone because, of course, everybody's near their phone, and I'll
Yeah.
ignore it, and I'll ignore it, and I'll ignore it, and then finally, once I snap out of it, I'll call them and act like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Screw you, Jenna. I've been calling you for 3 days. I've been so worried about you. And now you're calling me like it's nothing." And all I
Yeah.
can say is, I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
when I'm in that mood, I don't want to talk to anybody. And
Yeah,
I have lost many friends because of that,
Yeah.
because I won't take that initiative to just answer the phone. Like they said, why can't you just answer the phone and say, I'm okay, but not today? Why
right.
can't
Yeah.
you just do that? And
I don't know.
I
Sometimes
can't.
it's hard. It's hard.
My
It
sister does
Ray
the same
says, I
thing.
ride a pedal assisted electric bike. My wish would be to walk or run like I did before my injuries. And
Yeah,
I can
that's tough.
understand that.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's a tough one.
One thing
Yep.
I did when I was in a proper headspace was I wrote a journal page titled, I'm here to remind you who you are. And so, not always, but sometimes when I'm in a depression, I will read that and it will help me come out of it. But because sometimes you get so deep into it that you do forget who you are.
Don't you think though, Jenna, I'm talking to Jenna now because she's bipolar, we're hardest on ourselves.
Yes. Yeah.
Really do beat ourselves up.
Yeah.
Everything is
I
our
have a
fault.
lot of guilt. I
Yeah,
always,
me too.
I'm never good enough. It's always my
Yeah,
fault. I'm not a
yeah,
good mom. I'm not a good wife. I'm not anything.
yeah.
You're never happy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My husband used to go crazy because I'd be like, I would always say, why do you love me? I know you don't really love me. You just say you love me. And it used to drive him insane. And I really had to work on that, you know, because
My
when I would be in
husband
that
says that,
mood,
hi, Nellie Kelly. My husband's the same. He goes, well, I'm still here, aren't I?
that's
You know,
exactly what my husband says.
when you
If
have
I didn't want
people
to be
like,
here, I wouldn't.
when you have people perpetuating that, you know, that thing that you have already doubt in your mind about that, and you have people that perpetuate that doubt of yourself, that's really hard to, you know,
Hmm.
how
It's
it's hard to
damaging.
deal with. It really is. And then you start believing it about yourself, even though you can probably talk yourself into, well, I am a good person, or I try to be a good person. I'm not, I'm human, so I make mistakes. I get mad sometimes. But don't we
Yeah.
all get mad?
No
Like,
matter if you have a medical diagnosis or not, everybody gets mad and everybody makes mistakes. It's just not because I'm bipolar, I make mistakes and I get mad. No, everybody does. I totally
uh,
agree with that.
Tawanda has a very, very, very interesting question. Please, do you think
Absolutely.
this drama on YouTube affects mental illness? If so, can you walk away or does it make it worse?
It
Um,
absolutely, for me, it absolutely does. And as everybody knows, and then as everybody can tell, I walked away. I haven't done my channel. I have not done lives. Do I miss it? I do. And you know, there's been days where I'm like, yep, I'm going to go live today. And I talk myself out of it because I want to go on my panel and talk about good things, but you know, the drama is going to come in or somebody's going to want to have your opinion on it. So I rather stay away. So for me, walking away was better. I don't know, not for me it wasn't worse. I think it was better. It was taking a toll on me. And it wasn't even my drama. It was,
Right.
you know, it
um,
wasn't even my craziness.
what I would find hard to walk away from is the good people I've met.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, there are some bad people on here, and we all know that. I mean, it's a fact of life. But there are some really amazing. Tawanda is one of them.
Yeah.
Tawanda is a freaking angel on here.
Mhm.
She's always been there for me. So yeah, I would miss her. I would miss, walking away. I would miss away. I don't do Would I miss the drama? No. Uh-uh.
Yeah, see, and that was the hardest part for me walking away is missing the people that came in my chat faithfully and that weren't about the drama and didn't want to be a part of the drama and just loved that I would go live. Did I miss that? Yep. Did I miss the people that I used to chat to every day? I did, but I had to do it for me. And some didn't understand it. Some were like, you know, you're walking away from our friendship, you're walking away from everything in it. And I wasn't walking away from the friendship, I was walking away from the whole thing. I just needed to get away. I just needed to, and I'm slowly coming back. You know, I'm in Carla's chat and I pick and choose my chats now. I pick and choose who I watch now.
Yeah.
I unsubbed a lot of people. I'm just really careful, and I know when it gets overwhelming, I push that shut off button and I go find something else to do instead of listening. And that was hard because when you're sitting here and you're in it, and you're listening to it, and you want to know how it ends. I mean, we all like a little drama, you know. I mean, we're on YouTube for a reason, you know, but I had to learn to just push that X button and walk away. Put down my phone and say, you know what? It doesn't matter how it ends. It's ugly as it is.
Years ago, the drama wasn't this bad. It wasn't this toxic. It wasn't this
No,
horrible. Years
no.
ago, it was throw tomatoes at you, you throw tomatoes back, and then it's seen and goes, go your separate ways, and that's it. And then
Yep.
move. Uh, Now it's like throw
It's
tomatoes,
a
you throw an
horrible
atom
mess.
bomb. Like it's just like hard. It's hard.
Right.
It's
It
hard to
is.
watch. And I don't enjoy
So
watching people get annihilated. I seriously don't enjoy that.
no, no, even if they're not my cup of tea. There's a lot of people on here that are not my cup of tea, and I don't really care for them, but do I think they deserve what they're getting? No, I don't. And I mean, I don't have to mention any names. There's a couple of people on here that are definitely not my cup of tea, but they don't deserve what they get sometimes. They just don't. I think it goes overboard. It just does. And Twanda says, how can we help? I believe if people band together against the evil and support each other. That would be great. I mean, we have done so many panels talking about how can we make this place better, unsub, don't watch. I don't think you can do it as everybody. I think it has to be your own. You can only worry about you and what you will tolerate and what you will accept and what you will watch, because we have tried that where we're like, okay, everybody, if they're toxic, unsub them, don't support them, don't watch them, don't, yet they still have 600 people in their life. Hate watching.
Well, they're the ones that are going to get all the views and the subs and it's just a fact of life on here.
Yep.
As long as we're watching, we're supporting.
Exactly.
When you watch,
even if you're not typing, even if you're not typing in that
just
chat.
watching. Yeah.
Yep, you are.
The one thing you can do is just don't watch, unsub. I mean, half the people that are in there are hate watching anyways. But they're still getting the views, they're still getting the super chats, they're still getting, and I'm not on here for money, I'm not on here for anything else but to just talk in the morning. Like I try not to hurt anybody. I just want peace. You know what I mean? And we can talk about different things on here. Hi, Robbie. Love you too.
Hey, Robbie.
We can talk about positive things. Robbie talks about positive things on his channel. He's funny.
Yes, he does. I loved his video where he went and saw his family, his mom and stuff, and they walked through his town. I loved that video. It was so cute. That town was so cute. I don't know if anybody watched it, but the town his mom lives in, there's like a grocery store, and it was a great stream. It was a great stream. And those are the streams that I watch, like that and true crime. That's what I watch. I just don't watch the other stuff. I just can't anymore.
Rhonda says, I have unsubbed and blocked so many. I block people who say and do negative things. That has helped me so much. And yeah, it does. It does help.
I think Carla has a point as well, because like it depends on the people that you follow on here. Like when I first started on here, I got misled into the drama community, and I had a few people who went at me for quite some time, and it was awful. And I had to learn to walk away, and I haven't been in the drama community for over a couple of years, and it's so more beneficial because I'm focused on what I need to be doing. The drama community is not helpful. It's about gaining them people who actually will have your back and support you. And thanks to Carla and Behavior and people like you, Jenna, I've met some really nice people who actually do care about me and my channel, my welfare. And if I spot something wrong, they look after me. It's about trusting them people who will look after you and respect you.
Yep.
El Ray says, now they target you for watching channels not agreed with, hacking, fake emails, catfishing, just for leaving a comment on a channel. I have no evil content, and it's hard to deal with. Understand. Yeah, that's true.
No, he said evil intent, and it's hard to deal with. It is, because you should be able to go and put a comment on something, but people have to take it and run with it. Oh, they put a comment there, so they agree with everything, or they don't agree with everything, or let's grab the pitch. That's why it's just hard. It's hard. This is a hard place to be in. It really is.
I really thought Facebook was kind of like off the wall a little bit until I came onto YouTube, and I could not believe how horrible it could be. Starting with Diane's
Wanda,
channel.
you're
That
exactly
was the
right,
first
Wanda.
actually drama streams that I ever started watching was Diane's channel, drama streams. And I was like, wow, this is what drama is all about. Because I really was on here for the whole Chris Watts thing. But yeah, it's not good for mental health.
It is a very intense place. It really is. You know, there's not many chats that I type in. I definitely never leave comments anywhere, you know, and that's what works for me. It just works for me. It might not work for everybody, because you should have that right to be able to leave your opinion, as long as you're leaving it in a nice way, but yet you just can't. It's
Natalie
crazy.
says, I need to say this. I was 24. When I experienced my first panic attack, very scary. I was in college working. It came out of nowhere. I developed the fear of throwing up in public places. I think when I was, stuck in here for a couple of months and not going anywhere at all because I was scared I'd get the virus. I wasn't scared of getting the virus so much as I was scared of having a full-blown panic attack in public. I thought, what will I do if that happens to me in public? How will I deal with it?
See, I don't have anxiety, but my daughter has extreme anxiety. Like anything, crowds. My daughter, I've never experienced somebody that has anxiety, and even with her meds, it doesn't. My heart breaks for people that have anxiety, because she wants to do things. She wants to go and be in a crowd, but she just can't. But everything's scary. Car rides. My daughter has extreme anxiety, and it's not for one thing. It's everything. Driving in a car, she thinks she might get in a car accident. Being on a roller coaster, the roller coaster might fall off. Walking on the road, she might get kidnapped or hit by a car. Being in a crowd, it's too many people. Like my heart breaks for her.
She
So
also
I can't
has
imagine.
sensitive to sound, isn't she?
Yeah.
Sensitive,
Yeah.
severely
Mhm.
sensitive to sound, and I can
Yeah.
so relate to that because
Jenna, I can relate to your daughter a lot because I have sensitivities with crowds myself, being on the spectrum, and crowds is one of my most big triggers. Like if I go out and I do a piece of filming to show people, the amount of noises I have to put up with, I can understand why your daughter feels anxious, because it's not nice. You don't know what these people are going to be like, what they're going to do, what they smell like. Everything is too much.
It is. It is too much. Really? For a second. Oh, hold on, guys. I got to mute for a second. Hold on.
There's so many things that's like such a array of things that can manifest itself with mental illness.
Carla, I wanted to tell you that I'm so proud of you, because I know that you recently went through a lot, and you've been an inspiration to me, because you handled all of that with such class and dignity, and we need more people like you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It was hard. I won't lie. It was a hard, tough time, but sometimes you just have to take the high road. You can't always, you can't always shoot fish in a barrel. You know what I mean? Like it's just not.
Like people always say they have the right to their opinion, or they have the right to say something. Everybody has a right to an opinion, and everybody has a right to say something, but sometimes it's better not to. And I think that's hard for people around here. they feel like they need to, but sometimes you don't have to. And that's what I loved about Carla, is even though she went through this mess, yeah, you know, she could have went on her panel and said what she wanted to say and done what she wanted to do, but she took that higher road and knew, I don't have to say anything. I don't have to. You know, you don't always have to have a clapback. You don't always have to have an opinion.
Mm-mm.
Well,
Sometimes
I
it's
don't
better.
think it would
The
have
healing
turned out
is,
the way it did had she done that.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it
I
needed to
agree.
happen the way that it happened. But I'm just
And
proud of you, Carla.
that's like I
I
said
love
on Behaving Stream yesterday. Like, you don't always know the appropriate way to say something, or if to say anything at all, because for me it's very hard to know when to keep silent or when to say the right thing, because my brain doesn't really process the right way to say things. I have to sit here a long time and think about before I open my mouth, otherwise I know I'm going to get myself into
See,
trouble.
Gemma, I can relate. I know exactly what you're saying because I have a son that's on the spectrum. My daughter has the anxiety, but my son is autistic, and he's the same way. He has to think before he says stuff because it'll just come out, and so he don't mean to be rude, and he's not
Yeah.
trying to be rude, but people will take it rude, and he's had to learn over the years, like, he when he was younger it was way worse because he would just tell it as he saw it. It's called, he had so much truth, you know. He's gotten
Yeah.
better as he's gotten older,
well,
but
the way
yeah, I
I
can
see
get what
it,
you're saying.
treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't treat them poorly, because even if they've done something to you, it doesn't give anything to you. It doesn't. It really doesn't. And I managed to stay true to that. Although it's hard, I talked about it behind the scenes with a good friend, but I never brought it public. So no one knew about what was going on, and no one will ever know what's going on, because that's just, you know, something that I don't want to talk about. I don't want to bring it up, although other people have, but you know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to be the one that's going to bring anything up. That's gonna,
Nellie Kelly, can I ask you what GAD is? I don't I it says I can relate to your daughter, Jenna. I suffer GAD,
It
which
stands for
became
generalized anxiety disorder.
Oh, okay.
oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Do you
I
want to
didn't know
come
Oh,
up,
what
Samara?
GAD was.
Samara has a question. Sure, Samara.
Are you
Waiting for the
dropping the link?
question. Oh, does she want to come up?
I'm
She
asking.
wants to come up.
I'm asking if she wants to.
If you want to come up, I can drop you the link, Samara. There it is. Um,
And see, I don't know if my daughter
Anybody
she's
can
never
come up,
been
by the way.
diagnosed with anything other than extreme anxiety, and she has a sensory disorder, you know, like the sounds, like fireworks, the vacuum. Um,
Oh, fireworks are the
what was good
worst.
for her
Ugh.
when her anxiety was up, a bouncy ball, or we would wrap her in a blanket, like really, really tight, like a swaddle, and
Yeah.
that's how we would lower her anxiety. But I don't know, that's what she was diagnosed with, but I've never heard of it. I'll have to look that up.
Jenna, have you considered getting your daughter a weighted blanket for her anxiety by any
Yeah,
chance?
yeah. My son and my
Oh,
daughter both have one.
They're the most amazing product I've ever brought. My weighted blanket in the last 6 months that I've had it, I absolutely love it. I use it every day for a minimum of an
Yep,
hour. I love it.
yep.
Samara asks, what is someone supposed to say to someone when they are going through a panic attack or has severe depression to make them feel better or okay? I would say, well, as far as the depression goes, to validate their feelings, that it's okay to be depressed.
For me, just hearing this will pass. This isn't going
Yeah,
to be forever. It's going to
yeah,
pass. Helps me.
yeah.
For me, it's understanding. You
Yeah.
know, you might not get what I'm feeling. You might not be able to relate to what I'm feeling, but at least, like you said, validate it. You know, let me know that you hear me and you understand and you're so, you
Patient.
know, yeah.
Going to
Hmm.
be okay. It's not going to
Panic
last forever.
attack, I would, with a panic attack, it would be, you know, calming voice, I would think. I mean, I'm sure there's people in here with panic attacks that probably could answer it better, but I would think like calming voice, counting with them, trying to get their mind
Distraction.
off of what's making them panic. Like, you know, let's talk
Or
about
get
the
their, yeah,
ocean instead.
yeah, get their
Yeah.
mind off of it. I think when a
If
panic
for
attack.
me, to help with panic attacks, I find that meditation music works wonders with me. When I'm in a really bad panic attack state of mind, I find that going onto my laptop, I listen to this certain Australian psychotherapist meditation teacher who I've been listening to for about 3 years on YouTube, and he's absolutely amazing. His voice is just so calming, and he gives you like 5-10 minutes to think about the situation, and then he gives you breathing techniques and gets you onto like this guided meditation journey where you just completely switch off. And for me, that's perfect. I can just drift off. Imagine I'm on a beach somewhere, and I'm like, oh, I'm calm, so I don't have to worry about what's in my head. So
Yeah.
meditation music might be good.
So, I mean, the bottom line is mental illness is, you know, it's across the board. There's personality disorders. I think that falls under mental illness. And we see a lot of that on here, I think.
Yeah.
You know, personality disorders. I think we see a lot of anger issues from people. I think all of it falls under a little bit under seizures. My teenagers started having seizures and almost catatonic events that believed was a brain tumor. No, it wasn't. It was an emotional response to being dyslexic and not being
Oh,
able to keep up anxiety. I'm so sorry, Shaz.
yeah.
Hi, Donna's.
No,
In response
that's
to
the other thing
Bailey,
to talk about is
Oh,
the
my goodness.
internet can be
Donna,
a
that's
place
awesome.
for
I
people
believe
Sorry.
with
God directed me to this chat today. I have had terrifying 24 hours of anxiety, which is not normal for me. Listening these few minutes has been a godsend
oh,
and
well,
feel
then
the
it was
veil
worth
lifting.
it.
Oh my goodness, Donna.
See? Oh,
Um,
that's amazing.
and I hope, you know, you can just, it just can take your mind off your anxiety for a little bit and know that you're not alone because many of us suffer from anxiety and you're not alone and it'll pass.
You
It
are
will pass.
definitely not alone.
That
It
makes
always
my heart
You
does.
are
sing.
not alone.
It does. It makes my heart feel good too. To me, panic
And
attacks
I
don't need
was
to be
going to
alone.
say that the chat today has been amazing. This has been a great topic, Carla. I'm so
Um,
glad that you brought this topic up. And watching the chat, it's just been an amazing stream today, I think, you know?
And I'm so happy you guys
And
feel,
misbehaving last night, you know, it's just nice. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
I think we need to be more kind to each other and be more supportive of each other. I mean, when someone's suffering, like Donna here, and going through something, reach out to that person. Or was it Donna? It's Donna.
yeah.
Yeah.
Reach out to that person. Tell them if they want to talk to you, they want to, you know, cry on your shoulder or do something. We can help people one person at a time.
Yeah.
Donna, I hope you feel better. It will pass. It always, from what I understand, it has, for me anyways, a panic attack has always passed. While you're going through it, it's scary. It is scary. I'm not going to take that away from you, but it always passes. And that's what I have to think about in my own mind. Is it'll pass. It will pass. Sometimes I just go to sleep.
Courtney, have you tried like Gemma just said, like a meditation, um, like a meditation music, or like the
The,
ocean
yeah.
sound or the rain sound? That
The
might
channel that
help
I
you.
watch is a guy called Jason Stevenson. He's an Australian psychotherapist, meditation teacher. Absolute wonderful guy. He's from New South Wales in Australia. Absolute, his voice is just so dreamy. He leads you on these really peaceful journeys, and he describes every feeling you're going through, and he's amazing. If it wasn't for his channel, I probably wouldn't be as calm as what I am. And the fact that I can actually shut myself off, listen to him, I just completely disappear into a whole new world. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
Because I was
No.
thinking with her waking up, 5 to 6 times in the morning and not being able to go back to sleep because her mind is running or racing, maybe listening to something might calm your mind, like the rain, something soothing. It might help.
I can actually relate to that because before I was
Mhm.
on the Respiratory for at night, I was up 4 or 5 times in the middle of the night. And then
Yeah,
once I was up, I just watched stupid YouTube and that would keep me up, and
yeah.
then I would even though I had taken my meds, which I can't, you can't just change your meds. Your doctor has to change them for you. Um, no, I just keep myself up. I remember one time staying up for 36 hours, like 36 hours. Like it was crazy.
I
But
And
don't
I just
know.
want to say
I'm
that
gonna call him.
I'm
Oh, go
proud of
ahead.
the chat for feeling safe enough to share here. I think
I was
that's
just gonna
wonderful.
say El Ray. Um, I don't know. I don't know how to say his first name, so I'm gonna just say El Ray. That's just the start right there. They said, I'm scared to say my issues. And sometimes you need to be careful when you're on here, but right now, just saying that was hard. But that was the first step right there.
please
That's
know
the
that
first
too,
step.
we're not here to judge anybody. I would
No.
never judge anybody. This is a safe place. You can talk about, I know, I know, and I understand more than anybody that people would be afraid to, say their issues because a lot of things that are said on here are used against people, which
Yeah.
I find gross, to be honest with you. Do not use mental illness or anything else against someone. I just find that to be unacceptable.
Well,
But in here,
the other part to this is there are plenty with mental and personality disorders that are unmedicated that use this as a source to um, use their I'm not going to say it right, but to go after people because it's a release for them maybe because they aren't medicated, and this is how they maybe get it out to make themselves feel better.
yeah, I think most of us that are on YouTube are on here for one reason or another. I'm not saying everybody suffers from mental illness, but a lot of us do. Hi, Tiny Comedian. I got shamed, then called a liar if I denied it. It was no win situation from the bullying. And that's another thing we've got to think about too, what bullying can do to somebody's peace of mind. What, not peace of mind. I don't.
Even without mental illness, bullying, you can have
You
no
can
mental
drive
illness, and bullying can put a toll on you. It doesn't, with
can
or without
drive
mental illness.
someone over the edge. We
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
that. We can't continue to do that to people. How does she know there are plenty of people who online who are not medicated? What was that? Was that me?
Someone's phone's ringing. It's
No,
not
it's me.
mine.
Oh, it's not me. How does she know there are plenty of people online who are not medicated? I don't know who you're talking about, girl next door. I know I didn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Nellie Kelly says mental health has been demonized by those who use it as a get out of jail free card, when in reality they are just nasty people. Yeah, Nellie Kelly, I've been accused of using my autism as a get out of jail card. Like, people have said to me, "Oh, you use it as a feel sorry for you card. You use it for sympathy gain." I'm like, no, I don't. I use it as a way to gain awareness and show people that I can do more than what my label is. Just because I do have an illness that's registered legally as a mental disorder, I don't see it as that. I see it
I
as a
think there
different
are
way
just
of
some
thinking.
evil people online. There are some nasty people. There are that don't have mental illness, that don't have reason to do what they do, and you know, there are. Not everything is related to mental illness, but there are people that probably are not medicated that maybe should be. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, or would I, a healthcare professional. So I would never, ever even profess to say that. I just know my experiences with mental illness, and that's all I can share with you all. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I used to be ashamed of it. I used to. But I don't think there's anything to be ashamed of. Thank God I didn't gain, but so many do, though. In case you want to feel better, and I promise it won't make. Oh, you're talking about the keto diet, are you, Bailey? Bailey's big into this keto diet. I just want to lose weight. I just want to lose weight. Compassion, empathy, and understanding towards others is sadly lacking in some people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I think it depends if you're that type of person who can show compassion and understanding. Some people don't naturally have that ability to do that, and myself included. Like, I've had to learn in the last 5-6 years of being diagnosed that I've had to learn how to be compassionate. I've had to learn how to show empathy towards people, because for me, I think very black and white. I didn't have no flexibility, whereas now I'm able to slowly think otherwise.
Tiny Comedian says, I have autism, and I was told it was wrong of me to use it as a crutch. I was told I should stick to my own kind, meaning little people, and then told I don't, because then I don't feel special. People are nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
Tiny Comedian, I've had that said to me so many times, you have no idea. The problem is, again, it comes down to some people who do use it as the crutch to get away with certain things, and they go, oh, well, you can't tell me off or have a go at me because I'm autistic, leave me alone. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way. If you do something wrong, you own up and you take responsibility for it, like I've had to.
Yeah, and I've had to too. I've had to swallow my pride a couple times because that's where I had to learn, my mistakes on here is like, sometimes you just have to swallow your pride, own what you've done, and just move on from it. And then just try to just move on. Just get away from the toxicity and negativity. And I mean, you're not going to have like 1 million subscribers, or 1 million views, but you're going to have good people coming into your stream on the most part. And that's all I want. I just want good people. And I think I do. I think I managed to attract good people in here. A lot of people say, well, you go on so early, I can't see you, but they'll watch the replays, and that's good enough for me. Like, that's fine with me.
Yeah, definitely.
Driving. Oh, we talked about that the other day, Courtney. My husband's driving, I definitely have anxiety. Behavior was talking about that too, because we're watching what they're doing too much. I'm the worst backseat driver. My daughter, when she drives, makes me sit in the back seat. She will not allow me to sit in the front seat. She said I'm the worst backseat driver ever. I'm really bad, really bad. But that's like, I don't know. I will start screaming at my husband, because I'll see a car coming like, a mile away and think we're going to get T-boned. It's terrible. I'm terrible. I admit it though. I admit I'm a terrible backseat driver. I was mean and bullied someone yesterday. I walked away before it got worse. I felt bad doing both. I did get a call from a friend that told me the guy I bullied does it every day. Oh, I get it. As long as this place makes you happy or provides you with some sort of satisfaction, momentum. Exactly. Natalie. Natalie, my French Canadian girl. It's good to see you in here again, Natalie. I really did miss you. You left the best comments under some of my videos. Natalie really does leave some of the best comments. She's very, very, I'm going to say this, and it's not as an insult. You're very opinionated, but you also leave the best comments that I've ever read on some of my live streams. That's all. That's,
Carla, I'm so sorry. Hi, honey.
Were you talking the whole time?
No, I wasn't talking the whole time.
Oh, okay.
One of my dogs had a little accident, so
Oh, that's okay.
Bella's tummy isn't feeling good. Evidently, she threw up.
Well, I think I'm going to call it quits now because it's been an hour and a half, and I think we could have a part 2 on this because I think there's a lot more to discuss on mental illness, and I think a lot of you probably maybe some of you could come up on panel and talk about how you deal with it or what your issues are if you're comfortable with that, and we can just have a real open discussion about it. It's something that I think is an important discussion that we can talk about.
I'm so happy you did this, Carla. Thank you so much.
I am too.
Girl,
what are you talking about? Thank you.
Get rid of her. Get rid of her.
Yeah. No. Doesn't need to be here. Okay. So I'm probably gonna have a part 2, but it's probably not going to be tomorrow. Maybe next week we'll have a part 2, and maybe tomorrow we'll just do something fun and just talk about whatever, the weather, going swimming, going on vacation, whatever, and we will have another discussion maybe next week. How about that, guys? Is that okay? Lola's being rude today. So thank you all for coming in today and discussing this and being very respectful. And we will talk about this again, part 2 next week, next Monday, and we'll talk about mental illness again. And we'll have another open panel, and anybody that wants to come up and talk about what they deal with, what their issues are, can come up if they are comfortable with that, and we'll just do that.
Thanks again, Carla. Love you.
Okay, I love you too.
Bye, everyone.
I love everybody in here, and I don't know if Donna is still in here, but Donna, my email is in my about section. If you want to reach out to me, I can give you my phone number if you want to talk to me, if you need to talk to someone. So just reach out to me in email and I will get back to you. So, but just know that this is going to pass, definitely going to pass. So I love you, girl.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys. I hope she's still here. Bye.